Hey, hey, hey. It's me, Tiffany, the Budgetnista. Super excited for one, let us know if you can hear and see us. Um, so that way we can get started. So one, matter of fact, I should have even brought you up to the stage. This is supposed to be a surprise. I'm gonna put you back down for a second, right? It's supposed to be a surprise. I have well, it's not really a surprise, but let me tell you about my friend Netiva. First of all, welcome. We're just going to be on for a few minutes because we're going to talk all things credit. If you know somebody who needs some help, someone just slid in my DMs today asking about credit. I was like, girl, come tonight. Because let me tell you about Netiva. Netiva probably was my first financial friend in this space. When I started the Dreamcatcher group on Facebook many moons ago, I remember I was drowning in answering all you guys' daggone questions. And Netiva was in the group and she noticed that I was drowning and she hit me behind the scenes. It's like, girl, do you want some help answering questions? I was like, yes. I didn't even know her. She was just a dope sister who was like, I got you, and we started to tag team in the group. And then we added more and more people. And we had like this kind of admin chat that lasted for a number of years. And we've been friends ever since. So y'all think like when you have credit questions, you come to me, I go to Netiva, just so we're clear. So it's almost like, you have a boss and then the boss's boss. Netiva is the boss's boss's boss. We all go to Netiva. I literally don't know anyone who knows more about credit than Netiva. And so I'm just making sure like, yes, you can hear me. Okay, good. So I'm going to bring her up. So I'm bringing her up because one, we're doing just a quick like 10, 15 minute Q&A. You guys will ask the tip of your questions. She will answer as many as possible in the next 10, 15 minutes because I want you to mark this down on Sunday. Let me look on my calendar. Let me see my handy dandy calendar. Sunday, October 1st, write this down, 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Sunday, October 1st, 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Netiva is going to teach a full-fledged credit class. Okay, that is Sunday, October 1st. So today's just like a quick Q&A. So write it down. It's totally free. And the way you sign up is you're going to write Budgetnista credit. This is what you're going to type in when you want to register. Budgetnistacredit.com. The link should be like in the description of this video. Budgetnistacredit.com. Okay, so I'm going to bring Netiva up. Hey, Netiva girl.
Hey. How is everyone? I'm excited to be here.
So Netiva, we're just going to jump right into it because the girl is be knowing you already. Right? So Here's me. Y'all know me, Budgetnista. She is the frugal Creditnista. Okay, you got all the Nistas in the house today. So ask your questions. I'm just going to let Netiva do what she do. And yeah, so like, we can, so maybe I'll ask a question first, Netiva, and as we get the comments going. So let me see. Somebody asked me a question today. So let me look at my IG because I was literally just looking at it. And let me see what she wanted now. So I could tell her. I had asked Netiva. Okay, she said, I have a quick question about credit repair. I am working with a budget and building an emergency fund, but I also want to work on credit repair. I see many companies that offer to remove discrepancies and can guarantee a higher credit score, but are they legit? I printed a credit report, but I am unclear what should be there and what should be removed and what can be removed. Just unclear on all the rules. Is it beneficial to work with a credit repair company?
Oh, I love that question. First off, congrats on taking care of the money first, because usually it's the other way around. And I have to tell people, listen, we got to get the money on point if you want to permanently improve your scores. So congratulations on that. And it's actually illegal for any company to guarantee a score increase because there are so many companies involved and so many circumstances. It's all circumstantial. And so the one thing with credit repair is that we are looking for things to actually dispute. We're looking for, is it accurate? Is it reporting as complete as it's supposed to be? Is it consistently reporting the same across all of the credit bureaus? Can it be verified? Meaning they can't just throw some on your report and be like, it's right. They have to be able to verify it. And then should it still be there? Like, should it have been removed by now or what? So those are the things that we actually look for. So we can't guarantee any of that because it requires some buy-in from the credit bureaus, the original creditor, the collection agency, and all of that good stuff. Now, there are some legit professionals out there. I used to do this full time, and it was something that I absolutely love doing. And I know quite a few people, I won't say quite a few, I have a select few who are still legit, but you definitely have to be careful. So you want to go kind of steer away from the people who make credit seem sexy. I guarantee it. I can get it off in 3 days, because nobody can guarantee that. So when you see the things that are sexy and that are appealing to your, because, let's be honest, when we got something going on with our money or our credit, we get a little desperate. If they are appealing to your desperations, you want to pause and like read it through and then approach it from a more logical standpoint. And I know that's like kind of like, okay, but I'm desperate right now. But we're going to talk a lot about that inside of our training on Sunday. And I'm literally going to give you like step-by-step things to do and to look out for that you can do on your own before you bring in a professional. Because I always told anybody who approached me when I was doing this full time that, okay, how about I educate you on how to read your report? How about I pinpoint the things that are impacting your score so you know what to do to improve it, and then you can decide if you need to hire somebody from there. Because a lot of the times, you just need to pay on time, pay something down. And then like that's it. Like a lot of the times, a lot of people didn't even need credit repair. But that's a great question. I'm so excited that you started with the money first, because they kind of go hand in hand. It's not one or the other. So that's good stuff.
So you see some questions, Netiva. Feel free. I'll jump in, but if there's any question that you see in the comments that you're like, "Ooh, let's do that one," feel free to like. So while you're
let
looking,
me go in.
Okay,
What
go
is
ahead.
going on with the student loans? NailNet posted to all 3 of my credit reporting agencies, even though I never had an agreement nor a loan with them. How do I get them off? You know what? We talked a lot about this. Well, in my community, I have another one, but I'd also mentioned it. I'll actually cover it. I'll make sure to kind of pinpoint this on Sunday. But one of the things that happened is that a lot of loans transferred during the pandemic. And so if we open up our emails a lot of people are notified, but if you keep all of your financial stuff in the same email with everything else, it can get a little lost. So first you want to see if anything transferred over to NailNet, and you can do that by just picking up the phone, or you can log into studentaid.gov. I believe the site is, it's either studentaid.ed.gov or studentaid.gov. If you type it in though in Google, it's going to go to the one that's supposed to go to. And when you log in, it's going to ask you for, some personal information, date of birth, social, all of that good stuff. And if you don't have your PIN number to fully log in, it's going to tell you how to get that. But the reason why you want to get all those things is because you want to get familiar with where your loans have probably migrated to. And then if anything seems off, it'll actually tell you who to contact or what to do in order to get it resolved. So that usually isn't a dispute concern. Like you want that resolved from the Department of Ed to the student loan servicer, all of that good stuff. But first step is to definitely log in and see, and then to pick up the phone.
Good answer. I'm just here for moral support.
All right. I did have a few. So there was one that was about collections. And let me make sure I got the full. And hi, Dana. I love the salutation. I just got a Navian. Okay, so that was still Dana in reference to NailNet. So I don't know how you got rid of Navian. I don't know what that means. Maybe it transferred over, but if you want to get some more in the comments, definitely let me know. But there was one that I saw earlier inside of the community, and it was talking about collections. And, there's been a lot of changes with collections, and I hope you guys have been following some of this. And the reason why I say I hope you guys have been following is because they've been doing a lot of blogging, a lot of YouTube videos, a lot of social media posts. And when I say they, meaning a lot of government agencies, a lot of attorneys, and maybe y'all should follow them. Maybe I know because I follow them. Maybe I know. But one of the things that has passed is that they are able to email you, they are able to text you, they are able to DM you on social media. And so a lot of people are shocked, surprised, because that wasn't necessarily the case before. In addition to that, they can also contact you up to 7 times regarding that debt. And then after that, they kind of have to stop, and then it kind of re-triggers the following this week or month. But at any rate, one of the questions that I saw was what happens when they're rude or they are kind of mean? And I don't want to go into like exactly what happened, but one of the things that we want to be aware is that harassment is not okay. Yes, you owe the debt, but that doesn't mean that the individual on the phone has the right to be mean to you, to say condescending things, to be basically a butt. And so when those things happen, I don't want you to panic or get offended or get attitudinal. I want you to get very strategic. I want you to, if you know you have collections calling, go to your Google App Store or your, what is the Apple Store called? You know I'm an Android person. Don't talk about me.
I just switched over, child. The pressure got too much.
It's the app. What is the Apple Store called for Apple?
Child, I don't know.
Okay. Well, go to the Apple Store and download one of those little softwares that allow you to record conversations, because you want to actually have that on hand so that when these type of things occur, then you have the proof. So if you decide to file a complaint, which is legally within your right as a consumer with the Consumer Financial Protection Bureau, or even your state's attorney general's office, or your even get an attorney. Okay, there are so many attorneys that'll help you for free, knowing that if they know they got a legit case. But if you go with that type of information, that power, then you really increase your chances of not only stopping that from happening, potentially getting a deletion, but also getting some money in your pocket, up to $1,000 plus punitive damages. So I don't want you to think that's something that you have to take from anybody who's just trying to get a commission check. Okay. And I'm sorry, I know we got a lot of collection agencies inside of the group, but you guys know, because I used to be a collection agency and we got trained very well on the Fair Credit Report for Fair Debt Collection Practices Act.
So here's a question, Netiva, from Candace. She said, I attended school over 20 years ago that went out of business. Do you think I still need to settle this loan? I'm assuming it's a private loan.
If it's a private loan, it's typically held to the statute of limitations. So I want you to look at the last statement, the last date that you paid, and then count whatever your statute of limitations is. And so when you look up, you can Google this, statute of limitations, insert your state, and I want you to look for the one that says either loan or promissory note. Remember, everybody who has a student loan signs a promissory note, so that one is going to supersede the loan. Okay, so if you can find statute of limitations on promissory notes in whatever your state is, and then from there, count from the date of your last payment. And if that's passed, then let's say it's 4 years. Yes, it's 4 years, but legally it can stay on your credit report for up to 7 years, right? So yeah, it can hang out on your credit report, but as long as you don't make another payment or make another agreement with your signature to pay, then you can kind of let it hang out and kind of just, I hate to say insulate it because it's still getting factored, but you definitely want to just build credit so that as that gets older, all this positive, better, newer credit is going to be scored more stronger, for lack of a better word. So that doesn't make sense, let me know. But
no, it does.
Okay, good.
So Kiki has a real quick question. She said, how do I get a free credit report for all the 3 companies?
Oh, you know what? They just passed. I think this was last Friday. You can get a free one from annualcreditreport.com every single week now. It used to be once a year. Yeah, they made it permanent. I was like, okay. So now you can get one every single week. Doesn't have your score. Doesn't have your score, but those reports have like the best data. So if you are repairing your credit, especially if you're DIYing it, then those reports are like phenomenal. They're easy to read. They're filled with as much information as you need to see if you can find if it's complete, accurate, and all that good stuff that we talked about earlier. And then if you want your scores, there's a number of places. I know you connect with, is it Credit Sesame?
Yeah, Credit, well, girl, whoever. Credit Sesame. I like Credit Sesame. Yeah, Credit Sesame. I like SoFi, like Credit Karma. Yeah, all of them.
Yeah, it's a couple of places that you get them, but they don't provide all 3. You got to kind of like Experian for this, Credit Karma for, Equifax and TransUnion. And then you also have your scores through your credit card companies as well, and through your banks. Like there's so many different places that you can grab a score from. The thing to remember is that there are a gazillion and one different versions of credit scores out there. So don't be surprised if you pull from, let's say, Credit Karma and TransUnion, and it's like, I don't know, 700. And then you pull it from your bank and it's, 680. And you're like, oh, okay, don't freak out. The one from your bank is probably using a FICO version of your score. And it's probably the version that's specific to bank cards. Whereas the one on Credit Karma is Vantage. And Vantage, I believe Credit Karma now has the latest one, which is 4.0. If not, it's the older one, which is 3.0. But that just goes to show how many variations you get. The main thing I want you to focus on is that data. because as long as the data is on point, it doesn't matter which version of the score that is going to analyze all the stuff on your credit report. You want to ensure that no matter what, you're scoring high. So it doesn't matter if they're using Vantage 3.0, 4.0, FICO 8, FICO 10, their own private version of a score. Like, you want to make sure you're all good.
Let's just take a couple more, because if you really were serious, you would sign up for the free class on Netiva is going to teach October 1st, 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Go to budgetnistacredit.com. The link is in the description and sign up. We're just doing a little taste test. Sherry has a good question, Netiva. She said, I am a first-time home buyer. Go ahead, Sherry. We stand a home buyer. And I have a mortgage for the first time. How will that impact my credit score? Is a mortgage looked at more favorably, although it causes a dip in the credit score?
Initially, it does cause a dip. We're going to actually break down the score and what impacts it, what's factored into it a lot on Sunday. Initially, yeah, you'll see a little hit because it's new. What happens when you have an inquiry or new credit or any of that stuff? Initially, you're going to see that drop. But as you, especially with loans, pay on time as agreed, you're going to start seeing it really grow. Mortgages are one of, like, at least for a lot of my students and clients' credit report, like, it really gave them a nice little jump, especially the more they paid it. And once they paid maybe like 20% off, like, it really was like solid. It's going to take a while to get there, especially now. But just know that if you pay on time, you pay as agreed, I would say you'll start even seeing some improvements within 3 to 6 months. Like, a mortgage is really, really on point for your credit. So congratulations, new homeowner.
Yes. So we have one from Chionye. Hey, I can tell you're Nigerian. It looks like you're Igbo. Okay, girl. Hey, she says, how do I get inquiries off my credit report, especially if I decided not to go forward with the loan application that created the inquiry? So one, Netiva, can you explain what an inquiry is? And then how does one get them off, if that's possible?
Okay, well, inquiries are when you give, there's two types, but the one you're speaking of is a hard inquiry, and that's when you give someone permission to run your credit. So as long as you legally gave them permission, then they can legally report it to your credit report. Now, it is not looked at that great by other lenders when they see you with those hard inquiries and then not getting the whatever it is that you applied for. But as long as you let like 6 months ride, that inquiry is really not even factoring into your scores that much. So I used to always tell, well, even y'all, I'll tell you guys, even on Sunday, I'll reiterate this, that when you're repairing your credit, you kind of want to do a hierarchy of most important to least important. Inquiries aren't like the most important thing that's going to like really give your scores a boost if you only have a few that were surrounding like a personal loan or a couple credit cards or, you know, even a house or a car, anything like that. And we'll talk about the stipulations around that. But to get them removed, I mean, you can dispute, you can challenge it and say, I didn't give them permission. You can challenge it and say, basically, I thought it was a soft pull. You can do that, but you know, it is dishonest.
We don't want to do that.
You know? I was like, that's one. And number two, it doesn't really impact your scores that much. Like, I used to see people like, oh my God, inquiries. I'm like, these are old. They're not even being scored after 12 months. They are not really impacting after 6 months. Like, let's focus on the stuff that's going to really soar those scores. And one of the things that I'm going to talk about on Sunday is how to actually get that boost within 30 days or less. What area you really need to be focused on if you want it quickly. And inquiries are not a part of that. Okay. Can they use that a little extra boost when you're like right on the cusp of something? Yes. But the effort that it takes, typically, not all the time. There are some ways that you can like call in and get it off and some other little tactics. But by the time you do all that, you can do some other stuff that can like turn it around just like that. So always like how much effort do you want to put in? That's the main thing on some inquiries when they're only like 10% and you got payment history 35%, you have utilization 30%. Like that's what the money is. Okay, that's what you want to focus on.
Ain't she great, y'all? That's just awesome. We're just gonna take literally just like 2 more. TK says, what can be done about a repo? I owe $20,000 after the sale of the vehicle.
Ooh, that's a good one. So one of the things that we used to always do, and this is a lot of work, I'm not going to even tell you. That's why a lot of companies who do repair credit legitimately charge a little extra, because you really have to look into, did they follow the repossession guidelines of your state specifically? And you'll be surprised how many do not. So you can go that route, and you can also go the route of ensuring that it's reporting 100% accurately. You can go that route, and you can also look and see. I can tell you a little tip. We used to always find errors around the term because usually the term is like, 5 years or so. And if I would see the terms that was like, 42 or something like that, I'd be like, oh, terms are wrong, we would dispute that. So find like little things like that to try to dispute to get it off. But just because it's gone, that's a $20,000 balance and they can still sue you. And so as long as they can sue you, I'd be like, okay, let's see. Do you want to mess with them? Because if they can sue you, that means they can potentially win if they can prove that it wasn't paid, which I'm sure they will, as long as they do it within a timely fashion and when they kept the record. So they can sue you. They could potentially get a default judgment, and then you have to deal with wage garnishments, levy of bank accounts. That's when they go in and wipe you out. And if you have like a house or something, they can try to attach a lien to that. So when I used to have big loans like that for my clients, they'd be like, listen, these are the repercussions. Yes, I can go after it. Yes, we can challenge it. Yes, we dispute it. Yes, I can dig deep. We can do all of that. But that doesn't, exterminate or remove the debt that you have. And they can come back and be like, oh, okay. We were going to leave you alone because we thought you were a little broke. But now you're getting, you're trying to get a little funky. So let's see who's going to jump and go right to the courthouse. And I've seen that happen so many times. And I'd be like, oh, you told me to leave it alone. I'd be like, I did. I can recommend it. Like, that's all I can do at this point. Look, once you get legal, that's no. I can't help you there.
No. Okay. Last question from Chrizia. If you settle a credit card debt by paying a reduced amount, but it's still reported on your credit report, how can this get removed?
Ooh, the negotiations should start beforehand. If you are going to settle, then you want to always always at least attempt to negotiate a positive credit reporting. So with a collection, it's easier. That's called a pay for delete or pay in exchange for delete, where you say, okay, I love to settle, but can I, potentially have this just removed from my credit report? There are some collection agencies now that do it automatically. It's on their website. They put it in the letters that they send you. They tell you over the phone, like it is what they do. And some of the major companies do that. Some of the smaller ones, not so much. Medical collections, they are really, really favorable once they get paid. Now, after the fact, it's a bit more difficult, but not impossible. Sometimes we would do an amended goodwill letter. And a goodwill letter or good faith letter is where you basically ask them to remove it and you give them like, I hate to say sob story, but that's essentially what we do. We give them a little sob story, thank them for settling the debt. Basically, you're asking for a favor. That actually worked when we used to send it to the CEO of the company because they were like, okay, she paid. You know what I'm saying? That used to work for us a lot. So that was one thing that we actually did. And then again, sometimes they don't update. And if they got paid, sometimes you can just dispute it and they would just let it go because they got their money, which is ultimately what the collection agency wants. Yeah. So those are the way you can do it.
So who wants more Netiva? Say I do in the comments. You know you do. You know you do. If you want more Netiva, she is gifting us. Well, no, she ain't gifting me, but she's gifting you, right? Her precious time, right? So Netiva is going to be with us on October 1st, Sunday, October 1st, 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Put the kids to bed. Tell your partner to turn down the football Sunday, whatever foolishness, and get yourself focused. I want you to bring a notebook. I want you to bring a pen, a pencil, or whatever, and get your questions ready. She's going to teach a class. Like I said, it's free, but you have to register. It's because it's not going to be open like it is like where we are now. It's going to be, go to budgetnistacredit.com and do not gatekeep. You can invite your mama, your sister, your cousin, your brother, your husband, the baby. If the baby can read, everybody can come, right? Everybody is invited to come. Budgetnistacredit.com, for real. Like, credit is one of those things where, as much as I know about credit, there are always things changing. You saw Netiva was like, oh, that law just passed on Friday, and they just changed this thing. Child, I don't have time to keep up with all that. But Netiva, this is what she does. I tell you that you don't understand. Like, when I wrote my first book, my first traditionally published book, Get Good with Money, I had what I call my Budgetnista boosters, meaning experts that I personally use to be the expert for that section. And I could think of no one else. Netiva is the expert for that section. And y'all know that book sold nearly 300,000 copies. It's a New York Times bestseller. It's in large part because of the experts that I trusted to say, this is what I know. You can fit in this little cup when it comes to this compared to what you know. Can you pour into me and into the book so I know that people are getting the full breadth of what they need? Okay. And so again, let me know if you registered. Budgetnistacredit.com, October 1st. 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Nativa's gonna, like, literally, I'm gonna black out my screen. She's gonna teach a full class, take some Q&A. We're gonna have a good time. Yeah, she's just awesome. I hope y'all know I know some awesome people. Okay. Always. I'm surrounded by amazing, amazing, amazing people. Nativa, thank you so much, girl.
You are so very welcome.
And if you're watching live, we're about to head on over to the IG real quick to do the same thing. If you're watching replay, yeah, too late, which is fine. So different. I'm gonna see you on IG. All right, y'all. Bye. See you on class on Sunday. Okay, bye.
Bye.